Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a mall. This mall features a nice modern design, has a sizable car park out front, on the ground level of the mall we have a courtyard, which features a food stand and a coffee stand. We have some seating and various decorations, a pair of escalators which takes us up to the next floor, and also an elevator that kind of works. And we of course have 12 individual stores. This is the amount of space required to make your mall, and here are all of the materials that we will use throughout the build. Begin by placing 2 light grey concrete in a row on the ground. 1, 2. Then extend backwards by 1. Then place a white concrete behind and to the right of that light grey concrete. Then place 2 light blue stained glass to the right, 1, 2, and then 2 white concrete, 1, 2, and then 2 more glass, 1, 2. Then place a white concrete, then place 2 light grey concrete, 1, 2, extend them each forwards by 1. We then want to place a light blue glass in front of the right light grey concrete, and then extend to the right one, forwards 1, right 1, forwards 1, right 1, forwards 1, and then extend to the right by 3, 1, 2, 3. Then place a light grey concrete and extend forwards using glass by 3, 1, 2, 3. Extend right, forwards, then place a light blue stained glass pane to the right. Leave a row of 2 in the ground going right, you can even dig them out if you like, and then on the opposite end of this, place a light blue stained glass pane, light blue glass block, then extend this glass block back 1, right 1, and then back by 2, 1, 2, then place a light grey concrete behind this, and then extend the light grey concrete to the right by 4 using glass block, 1, 2, 3, 4. We then want to extend in, right, in, right, in, right. We then want to place 2 light grey concrete behind that last block, and then extend them each to the right by 1. Then grab white concrete and place a white concrete to the right of the back row of light grey. Then place 2 light blue glass to the right, 1, 2. 2 white concrete, 1, 2, and then 2 glass, 1, 2, 1 white concrete. In front of and to the right of this, place a light grey concrete, extend right 1, extend each of these forwards by 1, and then we want to extend this light grey concrete block here that is diagonal from the white concrete backwards by 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. We then want to extend it across the back of the build by 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We then want to place 3 light blue stained glass block, 1, 2, 3, and then a light grey concrete. Place 3 glass block, 1, 2, 3, and then 8 light grey concrete, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then place 3 more glass, 1, 2, 3, and then light grey concrete, and then 3 more glass, 1, 2, 3. Now, whilst we are on the back of the build, we want to add an additional 2 rows of glass on top of each one of the layers of glass that we've placed. We then want to stack 2 layers of light grey concrete on top of the glass, like this. And then once we've done that, we want to stack 3 more layers of glass on top of the light grey. So 1, 2, 3. And once we've done that, that is most of the detail on the back complete. So what we now want to do is continue building from the right of this window here, and we want to place light grey concrete extending all the way right, and the goal is not to connect it where we started, but just next to it. So if you have to, you can come all the way to the front here. You can actually just extend this block backwards, so you can turn this into a 2x2 square. But the important part is that we extend from here, not the end, but just 1 row inwards, and we connect all the way back to the back. And the end result of this should look like this. Now, once we have the floor plan pretty much laid out as we do, what we now want to do is come all the way back to the beginning, and we want to start by taking this 2x2 square of light grey concrete that we have, and we want to extend it up by 9 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Just like this. And now that we have extended up this pillar, we want to do the exact same thing to this 2x2 square, the one over there, and the one over there. So all of the set of 4 that we have on the front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So what we should end up with is this. And now that we've done that, we just want to focus on the areas on the left and right now that we've kind of boxed them in with these pillars. And the idea is this: we take each one of these windows here and we add 2 more rows on top of them. So 1, 2. We then add 2 rows of white concrete on top. 1, 2. 3 more rows of glass. 1, 2, 3. And then a layer of white concrete like this. And we do the same to this side. So 1, 2, 2. 1, 2, 3, and then 1. And then we box this entire area in using white concrete. And now that we've done that, we grab our grey concrete, and underneath this upper set of windows, we place a layer of grey concrete left to right, and then we extend it forwards so that it extends a couple of rows forwards from the light grey concrete that we have specifically on this left side. No, it's not the same on the left and right side, so specifically on this left side here. And if you like, we can even add a lantern here and here. I actually don't know why I have 2 of these, but hey, double the fun. So now that we have done that, we can actually do the exact same thing on the other side. So if you guys remember, a couple of rows of glass on top, 2 rows of white concrete, 3 rows of glass, layer of white concrete, and we apply this to the opposite side, box it all in, add the actual grey concrete ledge, and then add some lanterns. That's absolutely perfect. So if we have a look at this, we have the left and right side pretty much done now in the terms of the building structure. So now we have to focus on the center part. So this is an interesting part of the mall. The first thing that we're going to do, and we'll start over here on the left because why not? On top of the glass, we want to stack 3 more layers of glass. 1, 2, 3. Then stack a light grey concrete on top, and then 7 rows of light blue glass. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It should pop up a couple of rows higher than the light grey that we have around here. So the idea will be that we raise up all of the glass that we have, and it all wants to be... we want to follow the exact same shape and the pattern like this around these 2 sides, the left and right, and then this middle bit will be slightly different. But what we can do is like raise up this light grey concrete here, right? Extend this row of light grey concrete across, and then further across we can bridge the gap, and then we can do the little center bit a little bit later. But we want to apply that all the way around here in a crescent moon. So now we actually want to make the actual main entrance itself. So on top of all of this glass here, we'll stack 2 more rows, 1, 2, and then a layer of light grey on top, just like this. So pretty much every single glass that we have, we give it that treatment, and then we add the light grey on top, and then we'll join it all together. So now that we have raised up all of the glass like this, including the panes, we now want to add the light grey on top, extend across like this, and then we're just going to fill the top of this in with light blue glass. And I'm thinking for the actual like inside the entrance, since this is kind of like, I refer to this as kind of like an airlock, you know? You've kind of got like, you enter this part and then there's like another bit before you go in. I'm thinking we add a layer of glass here, then glass pane like so, and we just leave it like that. And then we can proceed to just fill the top of this in using glass like this. And on the outer parts, you can have it look like automatic doors like this, or you can even add some end rods just suspended in front of the center blocks like so. It's kind of a personal choice, so I will leave that strictly up to you. But I will also suggest that before we kind of forget about this, and by we I mean, you know, me mainly, underneath all of the glass, I'd highly recommend adding a layer of grey concrete because it really helps to contrast a little bit, so just all the way around here, and it just makes it stand out a little bit. It looks really good. So we'll do it to this curved part here, and then the curve of the entrance. We have to replace these surrounding blocks anyway, so it's not really too big of a deal. Do make sure that you get underneath all of the glass blocks because it is easy to miss some like this. You want that nice curved edge, and then underneath these windows as well. And we'll even do the ones on the back as well whilst we're at it. So just coming over to the back, we've not got too many on here. And now that that is complete, we will be left with this, which actually already looks quite impressive. So I also want to make the area that will house the sign. So this basically, if you come to the left side of this kind of like curved entrance part here, right? We follow this up into the larger part of the glass, we leave a gap of 1 and place a white concrete. We then extend to the right by 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. add a layer of white concrete on top, extend the 4 middle blocks forwards, and I was going to say later on, but we'll do it now. Begin by flinging open your loom and placing a white banner in there with some black dye. The first letter we have to make is M, so we first of all want to place the triangle at the top. Grab that, put that back in, place white dye in there, and then we want to add the 3 little triangle pattern. Grab that, put that in, place black dye in there, and place the vertical row of black on the left side of the banner, and then on the right. That will give us M. Next, we have to make A, so a vertical row of black on the left, the right, and then a horizontal on the top, and then straight through the middle like this. That is A. Last but not least, we have to make L, so that's a vertical row of black on the left side, and then a horizontal row across the bottom, and there we have Mal. But we can actually utilize the L twice, and we can place it right in the middle here, M, A, L, L. That is absolutely perfect, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is the front of our mall pretty much complete. In terms of the actual building structure, there is actually quite a bit more to do on the front. So next up, we are going to add a bit of path in front of our mall. We'll just start off by adding a couple of rows of smooth stone directly in front of the actual entrance itself, so just this flat part right in front. We then want to add a row of smooth stone that extends around the edge of this area, hits this next flat part, and then just goes all the way over to the left, and it is going to hit the boundary like this, right? And the idea is that once we have this shape that is about to be finished, right here, we just want to add another layer of smooth stone that snakes around just the edge here. So effectively what we're making is just a 2-row thick path all the way around. And we also want to extend these 2 center blocks forwards as well, so this will connect to a road or a car park or, you know, wherever you like really. And then we want to do the same thing on this opposite side. So we just start off by adding the 1 row all the way to this flat part here, and then we just shoot off all the way over to the right. We want to double up on the row all the way to the front. And that is absolutely perfect. So the next thing that we would do is mark out some car parking spaces. We actually need some cyan terracotta as well. So starting in this corner here, moving right, we want to have a row of 3 cyan terracotta. So 1, 2, 3 like this, right, in the ground. And then a row of yellow concrete. And we want to continue this pattern, leading all the way over to the right, where it will actually reach a very natural end. It'll actually line up perfectly with the edge of the grid. And in front of the yellow concrete, we want to place some stone brick wall like this, and we want to extend the yellow concretes forwards like this until we have 2 rows left in front of them, which will be occupied with cyan terracotta. So the yellow concrete rows, let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, are 6 rows in length, which is the minimum length for pretty much like the standard car that I make. So if you make cars that are smaller, you can make the spaces smaller. If you make cars that are larger, then you're probably going to want to make the spaces larger, but that is completely up to you. And the idea is that we want to turn this into a box, which is what I'm doing right now, right? So we want to turn this into a box like this, and we'll fill all of this in with cyan concrete. Left of this, we will fill this in with lime terracotta, so this just all of this area inside of here. And then just behind where we have this area of grass here, we are going to do this. So we'll place, let's start in the middle, we'll place 2 rows of lime terracotta, 1 row of green terracotta, and then 2 more rows of lime. So this is what the right side of the build would look like. We're actually going to fill all of this in and then apply this to the left. So with that side complete, we are of course going to come over to this side. So just to mark it out, and then we can fill it all in nice and easy. 1, 2, 3, cyan terracotta, yellow concrete. 1, 2, 3, cyan terracotta, yellow concrete. Then 1, 2, 3, cyan terracotta, yellow concrete. 1, 2, 3, cyan terracotta, and then yellow concrete. And we extend these 5 rows forwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the rest kind of fits in nicely. So the end result of all of that should look like this. So this is looking really cool. It looks even better with a few cars out front. I'm sure that we'll add those later. So for the next part, we want to construct the remaining walls of the mall. This is really easy, so let's start on the right side because why not? We want to take this light grey concrete block here, extend it all the way backwards. You will notice that it's parallel to the road that we have on the ground. Extend it all the way back and join it down to the corner that we have on the back of the mall. And then fill it in using light grey concrete. You might be able to guess how we are going to fill in the 2 remaining walls of the mall once we've done this one. So moving on to the back, we extend this corner block here all the way across. We line it up with the opposite corner of the build, so all the way over roughly here-ish. We can extend this up instead of just connecting down that actual of the mall perfectly. So to do that, we want to come all the way to the back of the mall, and on this left set of windows, we want to take this light grey concrete block specifically, and from this place 2 quartz bricks in front of it. 1, 2. We then want to place a light grey concrete in front of this, and extend to the right by 3. 1, 2, 3. Place a grey concrete, and then we want to come over to the opposite side and do the same thing, but inversed. So we want to place 2 quartz bricks, and then a light grey concrete extending from this point in between the upper set of windows. Extend left by 3, 1, 2, 3. Grey concrete, and then place quartz bricks in between the 2 pair of grey concretes. We then want to extend the light grey concretes that we have on the left and right forwards. So we want to extend them all the way forward. So on the back of the build also, I'd recommend adding a couple of rows of leaves. So literally just 2 rows of leaves extending all the way. They will connect to the building. Probably don't cover the windows, but count 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's how you know you've done it right. So we then want to come over to the opposite side and we want to do the same thing. So it doesn't have to be perfect, you don't have to perfectly predict. So when it comes to the left side of the build, as you might imagine, we extend that layer of light grey concrete all the way from the back to the front, fill it all in, and that will be that. So this is why it's a bit different. We want to extend these light grey concretes inwards around, forwards, inwards, forwards. So from the opposite side also, inwards, forwards, inwards, forwards. Join them together like this. That is absolutely perfect, and the end result will be kind of like this. I don't want to say an oval shape, it almost looks like a really long bucket of some sort, but that's what we want to have so far. Next, we want to make the framework for these shops, because it's easier to do this and then add the floor itself in. So on the left and right side of the mall, we want to take these inward light grey concrete blocks here and we want to extend them front to back. So literally we just want to connect this. So all in all, we will end up with something that should look exactly like this. So this is looking really cool. So next up, and this is a rather large job, we are going to tear up the entire floor inside of the mall and replace it with our floor of choice. Mine is quartz bricks, but do feel free to change that if you like. And then 9 white concrete, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then a light grey. And then we want to place the rest of the row using white concrete like this, so leading all the way to the very back of the mall. And what we should have is 3 perfectly spaced stores. So the idea would then be to, where the light grey concrete is here, in the rows of white, extend these 2 forwards, and then extend the light grey concrete all the way down to the ground like this. And you should see that this splits the mall perfectly. So now we have 6 stores that are available to us. So it's actually a little bit more complicated than this though, as we will extend these light grey concretes across to the sides of the mall also. So this will chop the shops up horizontally like this. And then we want to fill the tops of these in using grey concrete like this. So this is going to be the roof material for each one of the 3 second-story stores. And actually, as a matter of fact, we also want to have a border of white concrete that goes all the way around the edge of the grey concrete as well. So we already have it on the inward part, and we already have it on the front, but we just didn't have it on the side and the back. But that kind of just frames everything nicely for us. So eventually, once the floor has been ripped up and replaced using quartz bricks, we will end up with something that should look like this. So what we are now able to do from here is connect the light grey concrete rows, the long vertical rows that go from the floor all the way up to the ceiling. We want to extend these rows of light grey concrete backwards, which will give us the internal walls between the stores. And with this, it's now easy for us to add the floor in to this particular side of the mall as well. So the floor is made out of quartz bricks, as you might imagine, and it just wants to extend from the quartz bricks that we've already placed, which is in line with the light grey concrete, and it is a little bit fiddly as we have to weave in and out of the stores, but I'm sure that we will manage it regardless. So now we have 6 empty units that we can turn into stores. So I'm going to start off by coming down to this bottom left one, which is the back part of the mall here. And right of this light grey concrete here, we are going to place a white concrete. And then we'll have a window that is 3 rows long, so 1, 2, 3 light blue glass. We then want to place a white concrete, and then a glass pane. We'll then leave a gap of 1, and then we will place a white concrete. So we want to extend up the white concrete, extend it across the top, down, add the split as well, and then fill the areas in using glass. So by fill them in, I mean literally just extend up from the bottom here. And if you like, this is completely up to you. Underneath the long window section, you can add grey concrete. I'd always recommend adding an end rod in front of the center glass pane, and that is pretty much it. So with each one of these stores in particular, you can give them a color as well, so you can kind of like just make them stand out a little bit. And all I would recommend doing is adding a layer of concrete, your favorite color, whichever that might be, completely up to you. Add a layer of concrete in front of the top 2 rows of the area spanning from the window. So from white concrete to white concrete here, that's absolutely perfect. And we want to apply this detail here to each one of the other 5 empty shop fronts. So on the actual front of the mall, so to the most right side, we won't be able to have this extra row of white concrete here, but that's perfectly okay. So all we have to do is just not include that, and then everything else functions the same. And it's easy to forget that when you work on any other storefront that isn't the front. So that's all of the basic bits of these made. I just have to color code them. I'm just making sure which design I like better. I kind of like where the concrete just sits along the left side, so you get like the frame of the door. I actually don't know which one I prefer better, but I guess it's kind of like a personal preference anyway. I still don't know which I like. I think that I'll have one side different from the other, and then that way I'll really be able to tell. So now that we have done that to that side of the mall, we now want to go ahead and do pretty much the exact same thing to the opposite side, doing pretty much every single step the exact same way. So we want to place light grey concrete, splitting this part of the mall, front and back, just like this. We then, underneath and inside from this row of light grey concrete, want to place a row of 8 white concrete extending back from this corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then a light grey. Then 9 white concrete. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then a light grey. And then we want to extend white concrete all the way to the back of the build. We then want to extend these light grey concretes forwards in the row of white, and then extend these down like this all the way to the ground, like so. And this will effectively split the mall into 3 even sections, as we did over here. We then want to extend the light grey concretes back to hit the side walls of the mall, and then all the way up. So this will really just wall off 3 equal parts, which we will then be able to split in half, of course, and then turn into 6 shops in total. Now, all the way up at the top here, what we are going to do is add a layer of white concrete along the back and long outer side of the mall. So this is going to give us the shape of the inside of the stores. And all we have to do now that we've kind of like made all of the kind of like the outer shape of the stores is just fill the top of the ceiling in using grey concrete. And with each one of these 3 filled in, what we can then do is add the actual floor itself. So we'll just focus on this part and not the middle part. We'll just extend the quartz bricks from the center here, and we will just fill in between all of the stores. So once again, it's a little bit fiddly because we've got to like weave in and out, but it will be no problem. So now we have 6 empty units, which we now have to give Storefront. So we are going to start on the back bottom of the mall once again, just as we did on that opposite side, and we will begin by adding a row of white concrete just up the back here alongside this window. We'll then extend the white concrete across and then down once it hits the light grey concrete. On the right side here, we want a 3-row wide window. So in the ground, I'm going to dig 3 rows, replace it using grey concrete, add a row of white concrete on the left from the floor to the ceiling, fill the window in using light blue glass, and then we'll add a layer of light blue glass to the left of this with light blue glass pane left of the block, and then an end rod in front of the middle glass pane like this. And that is pretty much how every single storefront is going to look, except for the ones at the very front of the store. But we will add the colours a little bit later on, but let's do every single other storefront. So remember that the difference with the front 2 pair of stores is that we just don't have this row of white concrete here, because that would actually just straight up seal up the door. Doesn't door look good like that? I wish that opened. It actually looks really good like that. But anyway, let's move up here and we can do the exact same thing. There we go, perfect. So all we have to do is color code these, and I think that I'm just going to match them to their counterparts, except the difference being is that I'm going to extend the color 1 row across. You could even do it just all the way across the door as well, but I think that I definitely don't like that. I like there being a bit of white exposed, but I don't know. You know, I really don't know which I prefer. I realise that this is an incredibly silly detail to care about, and yet here I am caring about it. It's probably best that we move on. So the next thing that we are going to do is make the mall elevator. So this is situated at the back of the mall, and first of all we're just going to add a couple of rows of quartz bricks in here just to fill in this little gap, bridging the 2 sides together. And where we have these grey concretes is actually where the elevator begins. You can extend these up to be as high as the light grey concrete that is behind it, but you can also simultaneously extend these down as well, because of course with it being an elevator we have, you know, an upstairs part and a downstairs part. So we have to extend these a couple of rows forwards as well, maybe even just 1 row. So we might just extend this 1 row forwards on both sides. And we want to extend it backwards as well. So we're just going to extend more so the top of this backwards and leave it open on the side so that we can like freely walk into this. But we also have to split the elevator also. So we want to have 2 blocks on the left and 2 blocks on, and actually 2 blocks on the left, and there will be 3 blocks on the right. So the 2-block walkway is on the left side here, so this is how we will walk in and out. We want to extend a row of grey concrete all the way up to the top here. Fill the top of this in using grey concrete, unless you particularly want to add glass to it. You can definitely do that if you do want to. Add a row of grey concrete here just to cover up the quartz bricks, and then we're just going to add a little glass across it as well. And then down below here, we have to add in a wall here on the left, so this will just extend all the way up. We'll add a little bit of a plant situation here in a second, but we have to seal up this part here as well. And we can add like a button here and an iron door, so this would be like how we get in and out of the elevator. And we have the button as well, and of course the button will signify like up and down and what have you. But upstairs we of course need pretty much the equal and opposite thing, so we'll also have to have a little doorway upstairs that allows us to bridge the gap between both sides like this, and we'll just have to seal up the back of this lift. So this isn't a working lift, but we can use things like ladders, or you could even use a slime jump pad if you wanted to, but I mean I would probably just use ladders to get up and down here, and we'll add that in a second. But we have to seal up this side also like this, right? So you can see that the structure of this, it's really simple, but we also have to add, okay, so we want to add a row of stone brick wall along the inside of the center part here. We also want to dig out a row of this grey concrete here and add some stone brick wall. So this is meant to look like the set of cables that the lift is attached to, or, you know, poles or what have you, that will extend the lift up and down like this, right? And then we are going to, did we add the door? We didn't add the door up here, so we'll add the door here, button here. I know, unfortunately, unless we were to extend back, like the button has to be there, but it is nicely concealed away. And we want to just actually make the lift itself now. So this is made using some smooth quartz stairs, smooth quartz slabs, and then the 2 types of light blue stained glass. So we want to place upside down quartz stairs just on the left and right in front of these brick wall here, and then we want to place smooth quartz blocks in between them like this. Then we want to have 2 rows of light blue stained glass on top of this, and then a layer of smooth quartz block on top of the glass. Extend them outwards using smooth quartz stairs like this, and then add some light blue glass pane on the left and right, and that kind of just looks like a lift, doesn't it? And of course you can have this in the bottom position or the top position, it actually doesn't matter, but I kind of like it at the bottom here. And all we would have to do, I'm thinking that we really, like, if we extend this out, so this here, or maybe even add some grey concrete here just to make it look a little bit better. What we can then do, if we want a, you know, quote-unquote functional lift, so like you can actually like walk in here, like we can have a set of ladders here now. So instead of obviously this, but again, you could just add a jump pad in right up to the top. I mean, there's ways to circumvent that. We could even add, well, there's no reason actually to make the lift smaller, but you could add like multiple buttons and stuff, so like ground floor, first floor, you know, the sort of buttons that they would have in a lift. And that would obviously be the core button. And I mean, that's looking pretty good, because of course this might look unsafe and weird, but if you imagine that the lift has been called up here, then, you know, then it's not. So we want to add some brown glazed terracotta and some oak leaves to this little bit here. So 2 brown glazed terracotta on top of each other with some oak leaves just there, makes it look nice. And honestly, that's kind of like the lift section complete. Next up, we want to make some escalators, aka moving stairs. So this is another way to traverse up and down the mall. And these are positioned right in the middle of the mall, which is here. So the middle of the middle shop, as you might expect, is pretty much the middle of the mall. So from this white concrete here that separates the windows on either side, we dig out this light grey concrete block, place a black stone stair, a regular one because I really like the texture of it, and then we place upside down and regular stairs leading all the way down to the ground like this. Eventually we will hit the ground like so, and then we want to lay light grey concrete on the sides of the blackstone stairs. So just like this. That's perfect. And we want to do this on the opposite side. So we knock out this blackstone stair and then upside down and regular stairs leading all the way down to the ground until we eventually hit this mark right here, which is perfect. And we're going to stick some light grey concrete just along the sides like this. And yes, that's perfect. So now you can see that we have a way to get up and down the mall, which is absolutely great. And I'm noticing that at the front of the mall, we still haven't filled in this little walkway, which is personally my favourite part of the walkway because you can just see everything out front. Ah, look. A vast nothingness at the moment, but when this is in your city or what have you, obviously it will be surrounded by things, which is really cool. And now that we've done that, we can also add some light blue stained glass to the light grey concrete ovular bucket shape that we have. And I'm not placing it along the side of the escalators, but you can if you want. Typically there are like barriers, but you know, this is Minecraft. I think that we'll survive the fall, so we'll just extend this all the way around because it just looks good. There we go, that is absolutely perfect. And now that we've done that, we have a few more decorations to add to this kind of like center part, and then we can move on to... So at the front of the mall, we want to add a row of bushes. So these stem from the escalator, so let's start with this bottom one. We want to leave a gap of 3 moving forwards, 1, 2, 3, and then we want to place a row of smooth quartz slabs that leads all the way to the front of the mall like this, leaves a gap of 3, we extend it across by 2, and then we extend it back on itself and we make a rectangle, which we then fill in with a leaf of our choice. And we do the same on the opposite side, so we come to the edge of the escalator here, gap of 1, 2, 3, then we place the smooth quartz slabs leading all the way forwards, across by 2, back on itself, and then we just place some leaves in the middle, so that is absolutely perfect. So more so towards the back of the mall now, we are going to add a couple of stands, which you can change if you like. So from the opposite end of the escalator now, everything stems from these. We want to once again count out 1, 2, 3 blocks in the ground, but this time we want to move 1 row backwards and place an orange terracotta, which we will extend backwards 1, 2, 3 rows, and this way 1, 2, 3 rows. Then we are going to place glass pane along the front of this, a couple of furnaces, polished blackstone pressure plates, that is so hard for me to say, on top of the furnaces, and then a couple of item frames, cooked chicken and some bread in them, and this can just be like a sandwich stall or whatever it is that you want it to be really. And then we want to come to the opposite side and we need some different things. So this is ever so slightly more complicated. We take the opposite of this escalator, we find the 1, 2, 3rd block, 1 block backwards, and this time we place a light blue terracotta, which we extend 3 rows this way, and also 3 rows this way. We add the same glass pane here, and then this time we're going to add a couple of light grey concretes here, with a brewing stand, flower pot, we'll stick a cake somewhere, a couple of item frames, and some cocoa beans. And of course this is just a bit of a coffee stand really. So we have 2 nice little stands here, and we just need to make some seating also. So we just have to make some seating, and the seating is tucked away in the back of the mall, and it's on the left and right sides of the elevator here. And we just want to add a couple of smooth quartz stairs here, and here, just on both sides, leaving a row of 3 that you can walk through. And we want to place some end rods in front of the quartz stairs, and then in front of those, some more quartz stairs facing the same way, end rods in front of those, and then we want to switch up and place the opposite faced smooth quartz stairs with light grey carpet on top of the end rods like this. And these are just some nice easy tables. Feel free to change this if you like. Feel free to even add a cauldron with, say, like a trapdoors, or I mean there's various ways to make a bin, but you know, any sort of way that you want to make one, you can even stick in the corner there. And we want to do the same thing on the opposite side, so a couple of stairs either side, end rods in front, stairs in front of the end rods in front of the stairs once more, and then some smooth quartz stairs. That one is actually gripping on to... Is it gripping on? No, it's not. It just looked like it, but that's okay. And I mean, we could even make it so that it was reversed on this side, so that we wouldn't have this problem. That might be a way to do it. So, or just have less seating on this side would also work out. But if we place this here, and then the way that we could circumvent this is like have this, and then this, so it's a bit... So it's also a little bit different, which isn't, you know, necessarily a bad thing. Cauldron, oak trap door, and that looks pretty good. And if we take a little look at it now, I mean, yeah, that's really nice. We have the nice start. So with the courtyard and the various modes of transportation made, we can now head into these stores and we can decorate each of them. We're actually going to use the same decoration for every single one, but do feel free to add your own designs to these stores. This is just a base template that just like works and is nice and repeatable. So for each one of these stores, we want to add a till area, which is going to be 2 white concrete extending from the center point, just in between the door and the window. We extend across the window, 1, 2, 3 blocks with white concrete like this. We add a till in the form of a polished deep slate stairs, a glow item frame next to it. Along this counter space, we add a lantern and also a flower pot with a flower in there, and that is that. We then want to add, depending upon the colour of the store, so for instance this is red concrete, we are going to add a different carpet around the edge of the till, and then inside of here we are literally just going to add we want to add a couple of rows of bookshelves. So we'll leave a gap of 1 from the actual till here, and we'll try and take up, yeah, we'll take up as much space as the carpet takes up. So we'll have a couple of rows of bookshelves, leave a gap, or we could even leave a gap of 2 and then have the bookshelves run across the back wall here. So that way we have a little bit more room to walk around, and we can even have some bookshelves just here on the side, just like this. So it looks nice and full. You can kind of take from this what you will, like the bookshelves could represent anything. You could add item frames with various things inside of these. It's completely up to you. I would probably recommend adding some lighting to this as well, so however you want to do this, that's up to you. I'd probably just add a couple of torches just on each end of the bookshelves like this, and that will keep things sufficiently light. And then if you like, you can add paintings on the wall and such, but again, like, this is just a nice stock template from here. As long as you keep the till area, honestly, that's what I'd recommend, and maybe even this side part, you could add whatever you like. And of course we've got to do this in each one of the other... Guys, I can't math. How many are left here? 11 stores? Do you guys ever, accidentally hit this button here whilst holding shift? You guys ever do that? With those 12 stores complete, we are now able to add some optional extras. So this is completely up to you whether you want to do this. I'm not even necessarily going to do this myself, but here are 2 suggestions. Now, if you like, you don't have to leave the top of your mall open. I really like this open air style of mall. I think that it's really nice. I think that it keeps things like, it just feels so much bigger than it would otherwise. However, if you do want to, you can add an actual roof to this. So all we would have to do is just connect the top of them all together, pretty much just using light blue stained glass. So I'm going to do it for you, and you can take a look and see if you like it yourself before committing to it. There we go. So this is what it looks like from the top, and you know, it looks all right from the top. It looks great, but there's just something, and this is just, maybe this is just me. Just inside, it just feels that little bit smaller, but again, it's personal preference. Do whichever you would prefer. So last but not least, I want to fill up some of these car parking spaces in front of the mall to make it feel a little bit more alive. I'm going to use the same car design 4 times in 4 different colors, and they are all going to face the same way. So do feel free to change this up. You can add different vehicles if you want to, different styles, but I'm going to have them all spaced evenly apart, facing one way. So to make the cars, we place a furnace in the middle of the either end of our car parking spot. We place our colour choice of wall either side of it, with black concrete behind the wall, red wool in between the concrete, 2 rows of wool behind the black concrete layer, black concrete either side of the end of that row, red wool in between, add an extra row of red behind it, and that gives us this profile view. We then want to knock out this block here and place a deep slate stairs in there instead. You can actually use any stair. We want to add red wool on top of the back set of wheels with glass pane in between, and then extend glass pane around the edge of the area around the seat. We then want to add red carpet on top of the bonnet or hood area, and then we want to add a string above the seat, red carpet to fill in the top of the car like this, also carpet on top. We place stone buttons on the sides of the wheels, and then last but not least, we add glow item frames or regular item frames, it's up to you, on the 4 corners of the car, on the front and on the back. And then we have a nice simple car design which we can easily repeat. It's really quick to make. All you've got to do is swap out the wool and the carpet. The next one's going to be blue. Now, with those couple of extra details complete, ladies and gentlemen, we have 100% finished our mall. I hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial. Please do remember to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.